hate me, huh?
No, it's not 38 too.
Say I 10 you.
38.
I 10 you.
38.
I 10 you.
38.
When celebrity love stories unravel, some do it quietly, but not here. NBA YoungBoy and Yaya Mayweather's latest collision wasn't just a messy breakup. It was a full-blown public meltdown. Two women expecting, a jealous altercation, and decades of family shadow came crashing together in a moment that's as raw as it is revealing. The headlines say drama, but behind the chaos is a history of repeating mistakes. Once again, on the world stage. It started, fittingly, at a private family event meant for celebration. The mood shifted instantly when Yaya Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's daughter, and a figure never far from drama, confronted NBA YoungBoy's wife, Jazlyn, who was visibly pregnant. This wasn't just a heated argument. Multiple witnesses claim Yaya put her hands on Jazlyn, even as she herself is said to be expecting YoungBoy's child at the same time. Insiders quickly reported that YoungBoy, no stranger to chaos, finally hit a breaking point. Behind closed doors, he was furious, taking legal action, vowing to cut Yaya off for good, determined to protect his wife and their growing family. For fans and onlookers, the lines had been crossed more than once. But this scene was different. The public wasn't just seeing another love triangle, they were watching long-standing jealousy explode into confrontation and possible legal consequences. But the real shock was how unsurprised everyone seemed. For weeks, rumors had circulated about Yaya spiraling, dealing with feelings of betrayal, fixated on YoungBoy even after he married Jazlyn. Old wounds reopened, reminders of her 2020 conviction for poking YoungBoy's former girlfriend, a crime that landed her 6 years probation and exposed her capacity for extremes when she feels replaced.
Just when a girl grabbed her, the knife hit her. That's what I keep telling him, man. Like, my girl ain't doing nothing wrong. The girl who got stabbed, she gonna tell you that, man, she didn't stab, but like she didn't try. Ain't no weapons in here, nothing.
Yeah,
I kept telling him though, I paid him my money. I kept telling him, man, them ain't do nothing.
Now, with both women tied to YoungBoy by impending parenthood, the entire situation grew undeniably volatile. Fans flooded social media with disbelief, judgment, and a sense of tragic inevitability. Isn't this what always happens with them? Comments read, echoing the sentiment that chaos isn't new to Yaya or YoungBoy. It's practically the foundation of their bond. This was more than a messy night gone viral. It was the latest act in a long, painful play, two families, too much pride, and a legacy of unresolved drama pushing old patterns to dangerous new heights. If the commotion at the family event seems shocking, the emotional tinder for Yaya's latest outburst has been smoldering for years. Her pattern isn't subtle. Long before the confrontation with Jazlyn, Yaya's loyalty to NBA YoungBoy was already legendary, sometimes inspiring, but more often destructive. Friends recall times when she defended him through public humiliations, legal crisis, and rumors of new girlfriends. For Yaya, love has always meant possession. And when that grip loosens, she lashes out. This isn't just about rivalry with Jazlyn. It's a familiar cycle. YoungBoy's attention shifts. A new partner enters the picture, and Yaya escalates. First with social media warnings, then real-world confrontations. The 2020 poking of LaPatra Jacobs was the clearest warning sign. Most assumed probation and legal threats would curb further incidents. But for Yaya, the jealousy wasn't about rage alone. It was about identity and public image, stoked by the legacy of her father's fame and the pressure to never lose.
No, are y'all serious right now? Turn this weekend. I don't care whose song it is. Turn this weekend. Turn this weekend song off. What did I say?
The double pregnancy brought the rivalry to a fever pitch. To Yaya, Jazlyn represented not just another competitor, but an existential threat. The woman who had, in the world's eyes, won YoungBoy. Every post, every public show of affection became fuel for insecurity. Fans sensed it. The tweets, the sidelong jabs, the way Yaya would surface in the news every time YoungBoy's relationship with Jazlyn made headlines. Old wounds, it seemed, never healed. They only reopened, more raw each time. It's a relentless pattern, intensity, jealousy, and public spectacle that has kept their story in the spotlight. For Yaya, the fear of being replaced keeps drawing her back into drama, no matter the consequences. For YoungBoy, the chaos has become almost routine, even as the stakes and the potential for permanent damage rise with every cycle.
Man, what, you stupid? Huh? About my wife? Huh? About my wife? Say, Ayana, get up. Get up.
For YoungBoy, this latest blow-up marked a threshold he could no longer ignore. Known for surviving personal storms, court dates, careers, ups and downs, fractured relationships with multiple mothers of his children, he'd always seemed to juggle chaos with a shrug. But after the scene with Yaya and Jazlyn, insiders say he reached the end of his patience. In the days following the altercation, YoungBoy distanced himself from Yaya more forcefully than ever before. His inner circle confirmed that he'd spoken to lawyers about enforcing protective measures and even considered seeking sole custody arrangements if things escalated further. Privately, he vented frustration that his efforts to build a quieter life with Jazlyn and their family kept getting derailed by old attachments and public drama. Jazlyn, caught in the crossfire, was visibly shaken, her pregnancy now overshadowed by fear and unwanted attention. She reportedly leaned on her own family and demanded YoungBoy take a public stand, drawing a clearer line between his past and new commitments. The couple's inner circle watched closely, wary that another ignition could lead to lasting consequences, legal, emotional, and parental. For fans and family, this was a reckoning. No more blurred lines, no more forgiving outbursts as youthful passion. YoungBoy's career remains under a brighter, more critical spotlight, and there's a growing sense that any further slip-ups could cost him dearly, not just in love, but in long-term stability for his children and his own peace of mind. Yaya, meanwhile, is reportedly wrestling with both official warnings and the personal ache of losing the relationship that's defined her adulthood. The world, once glued to the spectacle, now watches less out of fascination and more out of concern. What began as headline drama feels like it's reaching a point of no return, where cycles either break or lives carry the scars into the next headline. The turbulence in Yaya's life can't be understood without looking at the shadow cast by her last name, Mayweather. Raised in unparalleled privilege, Yaya grew up at the center of spectacle, red carpet events, championship rings, and the constant presence of paparazzi. Her father, Floyd Mayweather, embodied both victory and controversy, legendary in the ring, notorious outside it for volatile relationships and a complicated reputation. To the public, Floyd's battles have always played out as loudly as his triumphs. To Yaya, it was simply the definition of normal.
Man, you better stop playing, man. I ain't included in weight. I don't even like y'all. I just spice y'all. So that nigga beg me to make money with him. I ain't never received a dollar with that nigga. Stop playing with me.
But fame isn't a shield. It's a magnifier. Every mistake, every outburst is broadcast louder and judged more harshly. Floyd doted on Yaya, but was also a distant parental figure, his focus dividing between business, boxing, and his own headline-grabbing relationships. The emotional gaps left Yaya searching for approval and stability elsewhere. YoungBoy, with his raw emotion and rebellious streak, became the anchor Yaya craved, and the chaos she subconsciously expected. Observers can't help but draw connections between father and daughter. The loyalty Yaya shows, her willingness to defend YoungBoy no matter the fallout, echoes Floyd's own relentless self-belief and combative spirit. But while Floyd's world rewards dominance and aggression, Yaya's lived experience has been painfully different. The same drive that brought her father fortune has now placed her on probation, tainted by a criminal conviction and struggling for a sense of direction that isn't defined by someone else's legacy. Friends sometimes describe Yaya as playing out her upbringing in public, a cycle where love and conflict are inseparable and drama feels normal. The family's wealth and fame means mistakes are more public, their consequences steeper. It's as if the Mayweather DNA is a double-edged sword, privileged mixed with the weight of expectation and the high price of public growth. In her quiet moments, sources close to Yaya say it's where her real battle lies, not with Jazlyn, not with the media, but with the need to finally step out from under the branding, bluster, and family patterns that shaped her earliest years. With the latest feud still reverberating through headlines, YoungBoy's next steps could determine not only his own destiny, but that of his ever-expanding family. The hip-hop world is no stranger to turbulence, but even among stars, YoungBoy's story stands out for its intensity and its mounting consequences.
It's you, man, because you probably won't eat my ugly ass hoe. All I did, only thing I did was respond to the girl about disrespecting me, letting her know I actually idolized them. You hear me? I respect how I respect it.
YoungBoy's efforts at building stability with Jazlyn have been fiercely tested. After the altercation, he withdrew further from the spotlight, reportedly focusing on protecting his wife, shielding their children, and mapping out a future with fewer public distractions. Industry insiders note that his recent music takes a more reflective tone, hinting at a desire for peace that stands in sharp contrast to his years of courting controversy. But peace won't come easy. With Yaya still under probation and the public watching every move, the smallest misstep could result in custody challenges, court hearings, or setbacks to musical projects. For Jazlyn, the struggle is just as real. The joy of new motherhood is inevitably mixed with anxiety. Her every move dissected online, not just for fashion or style, but for any sign of weakness or escalation. Support from her own family and a tight-knit circle has helped, but the other woman label from Yaya's fanbase weighs heavily, adding psychological pressure at a vulnerable moment. As for Yaya, she faces a crossroads. Legal constraints mean any further conflict could end in jail, not just viral headlines. The challenge now is whether she can channel her fierce loyalty and emotion into healing rather than perpetuating cycles of confrontation. Sources say she's begun exploring therapy at Floyd's urging, hoping to redefine her identity away from both her father's shadow and the relentless pull of YoungBoy's world. Both families now find themselves forced to reckon with the aftermath, past wounds, children in the middle, and futures that depend on breaking patterns of rivalry and impulsive decisions. Whether this scandal marks the start of change or simply the next act depends on choices made far away from cameras and courtrooms. Choices that for once might be made in private.
Just another ordinary day, chilling in an EWB Rolls Royce.
When the cameras switch off and trending topics fade, what's left are real people carrying scars, regrets, and anxieties not visible in viral clips. The Yaya and YoungBoy saga is more than a spectacle. It's a cross-section of fame, trauma, and emotional inheritance that's all too familiar to families navigating the edges of public life. Therapists and family advisors see the warning signs. Children raised in instability, young adults carrying the burden of generational expectations and unresolved pain. Yaya's intense loyalty and volatility signal deeper wounds, patterns shaped by her father's battles, and the chaotic attention that fame brings. YoungBoy's own history, difficult childhood, fast success, cycles of loss, shows how quickly hardship can become the normal backdrop to daily life. The latest turmoil has made both families take mental health more seriously. Reports suggest that Yaya is engaging in regular counseling, attempting to understand not just her choices, but also how to break the cycle before it passes down to her own child. There is talk of family sessions and emotional accountability being built into her probation routine, signaling a glimmer of hope beyond public scandals. YoungBoy, too, after years of running on adrenaline, is said to be prioritizing quieter routines, meaningful relationships, and support structures for his children. The uncertainty of his career, the fatigue of constant drama, and his desire for a different legacy are motivating private changes that, if sustained, could finally break the streak of repeating history. As outside drama cools, those watching are left with a rare bit of optimism that even the most public mistakes can be the start of private healing. The hardest lessons take the longest to stick, but for those caught in this storm, breaking patterns isn't just about reputations. It's about giving themselves and their children a shot at something better.
Ghetto. Popping and everything. The ghetto.
The story of NBA YoungBoy and Yaya Mayweather isn't just another celebrity romance gone wrong. It's a masterclass in how toxicity breeds more toxicity, and how two people can bring out the absolute worst in each other. From the very beginning, their relationship was built on shaky ground. A serial player who collected women like trophies, and a privileged daughter desperate to prove she was different from all the rest. What unfolded was a 3-year nightmare that would leave careers damaged, reputations destroyed, and one woman fighting for her life.
Y'all, please don't drag me, but I have a genuine question. Why, out of all bugs, are roaches, so bad?
By the time YoungBoy met Yaya in 2018, his pattern was already well established. At just 19 years old, he had already fathered multiple children with different women, treating relationships like revolving doors. His approach to love was transactional. Women were there for his convenience, his pleasure, and his image, but never for genuine partnership. He'd publicly claim one woman while secretly entertaining others, creating a web of confusion and competition that fed his ego. When Yaya shot her shot at that celebrity basketball game, she was walking into a trap she couldn't see coming. YoungBoy's game was sophisticated for someone so young. He made each woman feel special while keeping his options wide open. He'd shower them with attention, expensive gifts, and public declarations, only to disappear when someone new caught his eye. The cycle was predictable. Love bomb, withdraw, watch them fight for his attention, then repeat. What made YoungBoy dangerous was his ability to weaponize his trauma. He'd spin stories about his difficult childhood, his legal troubles, and his need for loyalty, making women feel like they were saving him. In reality, he was using their empathy as emotional currency, banking their devotion while giving nothing genuine in return. His music reflected this pattern too, songs about heartbreak and betrayal that conveniently left out his role in creating the very chaos he rapped about. With Yaya, YoungBoy found the perfect victim for his games. She was young, wealthy, and desperate to prove herself worthy of his attention. More importantly, she came with her own set of daddy issues and a family dynamic that normalized chaos. Floyd Mayweather's daughter had grown up watching relationships play out like boxing matches, all aggression, competition, and public spectacle. YoungBoy recognized this immediately and began playing the game at an expert level.
Hit my tag, huh? I hold my slime, free these dog. Foreign's all in it, your old inherited ass. Everything I got, I made on my own. Oh, you see that cut? Yeah.
From the moment Yaya set her sights on YoungBoy, her entire identity became wrapped up in being his girl. This wasn't love, it was ownership. She approached the relationship like a business deal, convinced that if she just proved her loyalty hard enough, fought for him fiercely enough, and sacrificed everything, he would finally choose her over everyone else. Her obsession was methodical and calculated. She studied his other relationships, learned what they offered so she could do it better. When other women kept their distance from his legal troubles, she showed up to court dates. When they demanded privacy, she flaunted their relationship online. When they complained about his behavior, she defended him publicly. She convinced herself that this wasn't desperation, it was strategy. But obsession has a way of revealing itself, and Yaya's quickly turned dangerous. The tire slashing incident in March 2019 was just the beginning. She would show up uninvited to his studio sessions, his home, anywhere he might be with other women. She turned their relationship into a full-time surveillance operation, tracking his social media, following his friends, and interrogating anyone who might have information about his whereabouts.
Funeral, I don't you. So when you look at me in my casket, remember me. Think of me telling you, don't you get your dog ass up out this church. I'm out here. I'm out here.
The most telling sign of her obsession was how she reacted to his blatant disrespect. When YoungBoy released Dirty Liana, a song that brutally exposed their private business and painted her as unstable, any self-respecting woman would have walked away. Instead, Yaya posted a video of herself enjoying the song, dancing along to lyrics that degraded her. She had convinced herself that even negative attention from him was better than no attention at all. As the noise fades from the latest clash, both Mayweather and YoungBoy stand at a tipping point. The cycles that have defined their story, jealousy, confrontation, public spectacle, can't play out forever without lasting damage. For Yaya, probation looms like a shadow. The smallest misstep could mean prison, and with a child to raise, the stakes are uncomfortably real. Friends urge her to step away from the conflicts and focus on redefining herself beyond the loyal at all costs persona. For YoungBoy, the question is whether he can truly protect his family while keeping one foot in old patterns. His marriage to Jazlyn and the stability she represents is now under constant strain. Insider whispers say he's weighing a more private life, limiting public feuds, and guarding his inner circle more tightly than ever. But the pull of past relationships, unresolved emotions, and an audience always hungry for drama can be hard to resist. Both futures hinge on one thing: whether they can replace reaction with reflection. fame-fueled impulses with deliberate choices. At this crossroads, they could retreat and rebuild, or ignite another chapter of the same saga. In the end, this isn't just a tale of two people locked in a love triangle. It's a window into how pride, public image, and personal history can create a storm too strong to escape. For Yaya and YoungBoy, the next headline will either be about change or proof that lessons unlearned will always come back louder. The cameras may turn away, but the real test is just beginning.